I really enjoyed that. Good morning, everyone. I'm Greg Townsend, and I am thankful to be serving as your worship weaver today. Welcome to our community worship with the UU congregation of Charlottesville, shared among our various Zoom sanctuaries. Our physical sanctuary was built in 1950 on hilltop land, which for centuries was the dwelling place of the Monacan people. Later, this land was part of plantations of the Norris family and then the Rugby family, who each enslaved African Americans for labor and profit. We honor all those who dwelt here before and all those whose lives led to this moment of our gathering as a community of memory and hope. Today, Steve Brecker, a new member of our Board of Trustees, is here to welcome you.
Good morning. I am Steve Brecker, and as Greg said, I am the newest member of your Board of Trustees. It's my pleasure to welcome all members and guests to the service today. I have been a UU for more than 25 years, having previously been a member of the Montclair, New Jersey and Williamsburg, Virginia congregations, and I've been a member of this church for about 6 years. Since I'm relatively new here and I've not had the chance to meet many of you, I hope I will have that opportunity to do so during the fellowship session after the service. I look forward to it.
Thank you, Steve. My thanks go to the many people who are helping us bring this worship together. We are grateful, as always, for the tech talents of Sean Scally, Bailey Reed, and Caroline Hines, and for the video artistry of Ellie Ransom. Scott DeVoe is offering music, Reverend Linda is our preacher, and Dawn Dirks will be sharing your joys and sorrows. Now I offer these words from UU Minister Karen Johnston. We could be elsewhere this September morning that offers itself up with sun. We could be elsewhere, still hiding under the covers, or hanging out with funny cat videos, given the news of horror and dismay that greets so many mornings. Yet we came together this morning. We gather here every Sunday morning, known by the company we keep, sowing and reaping seeds of change from deep within the earth, choosing the possibility of thriving, learning how we might lead in love. What a time to be alive. What an amazing thing to gather together for this blessed hour. Let us begin our worship together.
We give thanks for this precious this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. For all gathered here and most far away. For this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
We are the Landis family, and we'll be lighting the chalice this morning, the symbol of our UU faith.
We gather this hour as people of faith.
with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs.
We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning.
In celebration of the life we share together, we light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism.
This is a church of open minds.
This is the church of helping hands.
This is the church of loving hearts.
Our congregation's chalice has been lit and will have its own screen throughout the service.
If you have a chalice in your home, please light it now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I'm in my home, I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you know when I'm in my home, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm in my home, I'm gonna let it shine. I let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Out there on the street, so I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you know that out there on the streets, I'm gonna let it shine. Out there on the streets, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's sing it one more time. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, yeah.
Let our lights shine. A key role of our congregation is to help each other, to help every member find a way to let their inner light shine. When each of us finds our ministry and shares it in leading, teaching, serving the mission of our congregation, then our lights together shine brightly for all the world to see. This month, we're launching a new church year, and we are so very grateful for the 75 or more members who are active parts of the ministry of this congregation, leading, teaching, serving. We will be showing names in a moment, and I have to acknowledge that I will have accidentally left some folks' names off. My deepest apologies. What I find is that so many people do so much for the church and are willing to embrace the possibilities of doing more. We don't always know everything going on. So for all of you, those of you who we will name and those not named, we give deepest thanks for all you do to make real the ministry of this community. We trust you to carry out your ministry for the good of the whole, the well-being of this beloved congregation. And we in turn vow to offer you our support and our confidence. I first want to bless and commission by name the Board of Trustees, those people who listen to the hopes and dreams of the members, who set the vision of our future, and work with the leaders and the staff to make our shared journey possible. We bless President Pam McIntyre, Vice President Elizabeth Breeden, Treasurer Kay Frazier, Secretary Beth Jager Landis, and the at-large members Brett Gastinger, Jim Gorham, Kelsey Cowger, Haley Owens, Steve Brecker. And we thank and bless the many people who serve on teams and committees who support the work of governance. And we thank and bless those who care for our resources, our people, personnel, and our finances, and who care for the assets of our building, our grounds, our history. And we thank and bless all of those who are nurturing our worship lives and who guide us on our lifelong journeys of faith development. We thank and bless all those who offer our community support and human connections of friendship and caring in the journey towards membership, in creating small groups for deeper conversation, supporting various pastoral needs, and in helping us feel connected and letting the world know what we offer. And we thank and bless those who offer support to the wider community through service projects and working for justice. And today I want to bless and thank especially our UU Charlottesville Impact members, the networkers and the leaders who work in the Interfaith Partnership for improving the lives of those at risk in Charlottesville-Albemarle County region. Special recognition to the long-time work of Greta Dershimer and Christine Gresser, and to this year's team leaders, Kelsey Cowger, Haley Owens, and Bernie Davis. Blessings on you all for your important ministry. Spirit of life, hold all of these beloveds in loving embrace as they lead us all in the ministry of caring, connecting, and service. Amen.
Spirit of love, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea.
Thank you for that beautiful playing, Scott. Generosity is part of any spiritual practice, and we take time each week in worship to name the importance of supporting this spiritual community and its work. We also feature a community agency to support through our monthly social action collection. This month, we invite you to consider giving to support the work of our interfaith organizing initiative, Impact. Impact is a multi-faith coalition of more than 30 local congregations organizing to empower citizens to create significant change through direct action. Impact gets into good trouble in a smart way. We use evidence-based research to identify causes of injustice and suffering, and then we plan effective and achievable actions that will make a direct difference for those most affected. Our congregation was one of the founding members of Impact some 15 years ago. The work of many of our members involved with Impact over the years have helped build strong relationships across racial, ethnic, socioeconomic, and religious lines. If you would like to support the work of Impact, which is focusing this year on housing, childcare, and climate change, you can go online to give through our website or text an amount or send a check to UUCVille with Impact in a memo line. And of course, we invite you to support the ministries of our congregation as well. Some of you have pledged and have automatic deductions made each week. We honor that. Some of you make your pledge annually. We honor that. For those of you who would like to give weekly online, this is your opportunity to do so. To make a donation to UUCVille, you can text your donation amount to 434-277-2266 or go to the giving page of our website. You can also use the donation page of your Breeze account. Finally, you can send a check made out to UUCVille to our main office. There are so many ways that we give and receive gifts in this community. Our board and staff are dedicated to stewarding all of our gifts well with mission and vision. Together, we build the future of our congregation and our larger community. I am thankful we are all on this journey together. I am thankful for our abundance. And now let us dedicate all of the many gifts together by saying, we accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good.
There's enough love. There's enough love. There's enough love in this world to wash away all the pain, sadness, sorrow, rain. Nothing you see would be without it. Nothing ever done would last to be passed on. There's enough hate in this world to scatter the clouds of doubt, to let the darkness out. But there's enough love in my heart to give you a place to heal, to hold you so you feel. There's enough love in this world. You may not be able to see it from where you are, but let me remind you, you are so close, you've come so far. might be able to see it from where you are. But let me remind you, you are so close, you've come so far. There's enough love in my heart to give you a place to heal, to hold you so you feel there's enough love in this world. There's enough love. There's enough love. There's enough love. There's enough. There's enough.
Thank you to Ellie Ransom for pulling together all those beautiful images for that song. It is so important to be reminded that in this world of worry and hurt, there is still a lot of love, enough love to lift our spirits and to give us a place to heal. I want to thank all of you for being here today. And I want to thank all those who have cared for this congregation in the past and now. I want to thank all of you who helped us have a wonderful farewell to Reverend Alex last week. I'm going to tell you an old story, and it's worth telling over and over if you've heard it before. There was once a monastery that had fallen on hard times, and as the years passed, fewer and fewer people came, and more people left in satisfaction. And very few people from the surrounding villages would even visit. Eventually, there's only a handful of elderly monks remaining, and they argued among themselves all the time, blaming each other about why the monastery was declining and what the failings and the faults of each other were. Their leader, the abbot, didn't know what to do. Now, the abbot had a friend who lived nearby, a retired rabbi, and he'd visit often with him to talk and drink tea. And on one of his visits with the rabbi, the abbot brought up the problems he was facing at the monastery. This wasn't the first time the rabbi had heard about the things that were troubling his friend, but this time the abbot specifically asked the rabbi for advice. Particularly, he wanted something that he could share with the remaining monks that might encourage them and maybe stop them fighting with each other. So he heard the question, the rabbi did, and he was quiet for a little bit. And finally he said, "You know, your monks won't listen to my advice, but perhaps they would benefit from an observation I'd like to make." And the abbot said, hopefully, "Yes, Rabbi, have you noticed something that we have not noticed?" The rabbi said, "I think so. And it's this: the Messiah is among you." The abbot was initially at loss for words. It seemed like an outrageous claim, but he trusted his rabbi friend so much that when he regained his composure as respectfully as he could, he asked, "The Messiah is among us? Well, who is it?" And the rabbi said, "I can't say that. I don't know. But I do know that it's true without a doubt. The Messiah is among you. Tell the monks this, and in time the truth will be revealed." Well, the abbot couldn't wait to finish his tea and get back to the monastery. He thanked his friend profusely. He jumped out of his chair, he grabbed his coat, and without even taking time to put it on, he ran back across the meadow. And when he got there, he told the first monk there, and then each monk afterwards, when they met in the chapel, he said, "My brothers, I have incredible news. I have just been told without any room for doubt or question that the Messiah is among you." Well, the monks were startled and they started saying, "One of us here? But who? How can that be?" Raising his hand to quiet them, the abbot explained what the rabbi had told them, and he instructed them to go about their work while they reflected on this amazing news. Well, the monks tried to figure out who amongst them could be the Messiah, but they couldn't come to any conclusions because each of them had faults. But then as they thought about it, each had some gifts that they brought to the community. They began to wonder maybe if there was a little bit of the Messiah they could see in each other's faces, or maybe in some words that they'd heard each other say. And you know what? They began to treat each other a little more kindly, a little more fairly, in case the person they were talking to was the Messiah. And they began to see each other, and they began to feel seen and valued by one another. And they began to thank each other for what they had offered to one another and to the monastery. And they began to feel deep gratitude in their hearts when people thanked them. As time passed, the villagers noticed that something was different about the people in the monastery, and they began to visit more often to feel it themselves. And then more young people began to inquire about training with the monks. And the elderly monks and their abbot began to find themselves at peace because they were now content to enjoy their golden years doing what they loved and watching the monastery thrive with new people joining the community. So that's the old story. When I was young, I used to think it was all up to me to figure things out. But more and more as I've aged, I've discovered it's actually in you and in other people who are in my life. People who show up, who care, who create, and who love. It's in the world around me that I can find answers. And that's what I've come to have faith in seeing the possibility of truth, of the divine in what's going on all around me, maybe in me too. So this is a belief not in creeds, but it's a deep abiding faith that there are always new possibilities when I open up to the people around me and to the unfolding of nature. This is revealed to me most powerfully when I am feeling most done in, most depressed or anxious or hurting, when I feel that there is no answer. And then when I pay attention to people around me. And it's from others that I have learned that there is, in fact, possibility that kindness can give comfort, and a wise word can give encouragement, and that hope can return, and that love will bless again. Have you found that faith in your own life? That it's possible in you, in me, in each of us to find answers and to see the possibilities, even when we're in the most despair? And I wonder if each of you know how much difference each of you can make in someone else's life if you simply show up, or if you invite someone to come with you into something that you're finding meaningful, if you invite them to embrace the possibilities. I know I'm so grateful for all the people in my life who have done that for me, who've invited me into something. People who wouldn't leave me alone, who wouldn't let me just feel stressed out and isolate myself. People who reached out so I wouldn't have to solve problems all by myself. People who invited me to experience something new and something possible. In fact, sometimes I wonder what would have happened to me if I hadn't received these invitations. Because I've had invitations to friendships, invitations to groups, invitations to consider what school to go to, and invitations to a career path. I've even gotten the invitation to come be with the Unitarian Universalists of Charlottesville. I wouldn't have invented that myself. We are in tough times right now. The world is suffering. And many of you are feeling so burdened by not being able to get together as much as you'd like because of COVID worries. In this congregation, you've lost members, and many of you have suffered from a loss of faith in one another. So I want you today to realize something truly important, and I want you to tell it to anybody you know who isn't here this morning. I want to invite you to discover a truth, that there is always possibility and that you are a part of discovering and sharing answers and hope and love. And it's a paradox. It's true that blessings and possibilities are existing simultaneously to, but maybe even because of, the greatest hardships we're facing. Think about it. What possibilities are being opened up by the pandemic? I know that one result of our being forced into doing so much online is that this congregation finally has purchased the equipment to offer its services online and to expand its reach so that so many people who, even when the pandemic has eased, will not be able to travel to our sanctuary, maybe because of distance or illness or job schedules. And maybe you can think of other possibilities that this COVID time has allowed us. The benefits of not having long commutes and gas guzzling cars, or the joy of meeting neighbors because more walks happened in your neighborhood, or because informal connections can be made when we have to leave our homes and our buildings to go out for those walks. And what about the loss of trust, of faith here at UU Charlottesville? What about the loss of members? Perhaps in feeling just how difficult and painful that is, you can decide to delve more deeply with one another, to discover the true heart of what this congregation values and what it can be. And maybe out of this hard time, you'll be able to offer more joy and more authentic ministry than ever before. The world with climate crisis and human suffering, the nation with threats to our democracy, and right here in Charlottesville going through paroxysms of firings and resigning of leaders in our community who are trying to struggle with this town's white supremacy culture. All of these are signs of brokenness and dysfunction, but not necessarily a cause for despair. Think about it. What is opening up because of it? Can we see in these disruptions not only damage, but maybe see possibilities in these cracks to let the light in? In Leonard Cohen's song, Anthem, he says, "Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in." You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be open to what might be possible in this imperfect world, where there is enough love and where the hurt can create the cracks that need to let the light shine and healing begin. The Sikh author Valerie Kaur writes, "The future is dark, but what if this is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb? What if this is our greatest transition? What if?" We need one another to help us see what is possible. We need to be invited and to invite others to join us in these discoveries. We're giving attention to impact this month. Impact invites you to invite each other to join in conversations with one of our impact leaders. And then this fall to show up at actions or to take part in the work of research or showing up with elected officials. And here at UU Charlottesville, we are inviting you to join in a small group, a covenant group. They're signing up folks right now. You can sign up and you can also invite others to sign up to form a small group that will agree to meet regularly this year to get to know each other more deeply. So friends, as you're trying to figure out how to cope with the ongoing pandemic. As you begin to discern what is needed in this congregation for the next ministry to bring vitality and meaning to this congregation's story, beloveds, remember this. Unitarian Universalism offers all of us the chance to share a message of life, of love, of hope, of justice, to share the message to the world, and yes, closer to home, to each other. So I urge you, consider this invitation. I'm inviting you to invite one another to embrace the possibilities, to embrace in spite of all that is difficult. And I am sure years from now, someone will say, I am so grateful to that person for inviting me in. So on your journey of life, who's been there beside you? Who's there with you now? Who invited you? Who can be with you while you are bandaging up wounds or offering ointments to the wounds of our neighbors? Who is offering you the faith that when you're in despair, there's a possibility of light? No one has ever and can ever make it down this road of life alone. We need each other. We need each other and to invite each other to embrace the possibilities. The Messiah is among us. Maybe it's you. Maybe you can be a blessing to all of us. The Unitarian Universalist theologian Rebecca Parker has said, your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. And while there is injustice and evil, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love. And those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage. The choice to bless the world will draw you into community, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the chorus of life, welcoming you. None of us alone can save the world, but together, that's another possibility waiting.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. So
My friends, the road is hard. Our struggles are deep and real. This is true, but there is another truth, which is throughout this life, we are not alone. Believe that and imagine what you can do with one another. We lit this chalice for our faith. As we extinguish our chalice flame, I encourage you to take its light and share it with all you know. Amen.